Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of This Is Our Life. I really wish my wife was home. I look over there and she's not there. Don't hear her voice. Yeah, I go see her, but we're used to being together all the time, and she's the only one there. She's by herself. Well, that can't be too fun. So that's not what I wanted to make this video about, but that's how I'm feeling, so thought I'd express it. I want to say something about I had that on for Lucky. I don't care for the TV myself. My wife likes it, but I think more of a distraction than anything. I want to talk about language, nationality, citizenship. You know, tonight I was talking to the neighbors. They had a friend of theirs over, and I said, "Hey." They said, "Oh, you must be Canadian." I said, "Well, I'm part Canadian. My dad was Canadian." Eh? And you know, when I speak like this, I assume I sound like somebody from Texas. Let's see, even when I speak Spanish, because of the way I pronounce certain things, if you're from Spain and you hear me, you can figure out where I'm from. You know, I heard people in San Antonio, you know, doing that with people from different parts of the Americas, but I never found anyone, you know, who could understand, you know, knew that, like, the accent and slang and whatever from Spain. And let me tell you one thing that I hated about Texas. And frankly, this is going to be true wherever you go, even here. You just don't find it much here. So far, it's been rare, to say the least. In Texas, there's this big native Texan thing. I was born here. I'm a native Texan. Well, I wasn't. And I always felt like an outsider in Texas. 40 years in Texas. And the whole time I felt like an outsider. I don't feel that way up here. People up here, you know, some have an interest in where you're from, but even those who do, they don't hold it against you. They can care less where you're from. It's just like, oh wow, you know, well, that's an interesting place, or I'd like to know about that place. That's the kind of attitude they have up here. It's none of this, you're not a native Texan. You know, my mother was what I call Native American, and so forth. She was born in the United States as a citizen. See, I wasn't even born a citizen. I had to get citizenship. I was born a Spanish citizen. And I still wish I had my Spanish birth certificate, but no one's been able to help me out there. So, you know, I mean, you know, the way I've said this before, I go to bed 1:05 in the morning, and I put the phone on the charger because I looked at it and it was completely dead. So it's on the charger. So, Gabby, you can call me tomorrow if you want, or today, I guess. Today, my time. It's not tomorrow your time yet. I've said this before, but to me, a country is loosely defined by the physical geography of the place, the common culture, linguistics, and so far as a common language. But see, in the United States, you have distinct accents and distinct cultures. It'd probably be better to break the United States up into quite a few, into several smaller countries. But I don't really see a hard dividing line anywhere, because in Canada they speak English, and there are people here in New Carey that speak English similar to Canadians. Not many, but maybe if you go up north you find more. In Minnesota, listen to the people in Minnesota. They sound like Canadians. At least some of them do. Now, I don't mind people wondering, where I'm from or anything like that. I just wish people would just, accept people as people. Because, frankly, the whole dividing ourselves by what part of a country we come from, what continent we come from, what country itself we come from, it gets old. What about displaced people, nationalist peoples? What about them? I don't know. I just wish people would be people, and we would see each other as people, and not come on all this division, come up with ways to divide ourselves, because it's not worth it, people. You don't need to divide yourselves. I mean, I could go back to Spain today, and how much of the language do I speak? Virtually none. I'd probably pick it up pretty fast, though. But I wouldn't be accepted. I could only imagine what they would say when they look at my passport and say, "Oh, you're from Spain. You're an American. You're coming back, eh? Why are you coming back? What are you doing here?" And then there would be the issue of, I don't know what the law is in Spain right now, but for a long time there was a law that said if you were from Spain, if you were Spanish born, and you left the country and became a citizen of another country, like I have done, that if the government wanted to keep you in country, they could keep you there. So unless that law has changed in a real way, it doesn't matter if the law is on the books or not, it's in practice what's important. You look at all the corruption in the United States, that's the practice, regardless of what the law is. But I could go back to Spain and they could keep me there. Now, I could figure out a way to leave, don't get me wrong there. I could leave. But would I want to? If my wife was with me, I'd probably live just about anywhere. Sometimes I worry that maybe she wants to live in Illinois, and to be honest with you, I just don't want to live there. I'd probably live in Illinois a lot faster than I would live in Texas, though. Illinois has flooding and tornadoes, and not like they don't have those here. We just don't have much of them here in New Carey. Regardless of accent or phraseology or whatever, I wish we just wouldn't see folks as being different than ourselves. You know, my dad was from Canada. His dad was from Ireland. His mom was from Scotland, of Irish stock. So what? You know, I mean, I like that. You know, I like the fact on my mom's side we've been in Virginia since 1632 and North Carolina since 1775. But I don't think that should be a way to divide us. If anything, it should help bring us closer together, because we can learn about each other's cultures and languages and foods and history and all that. Instead, we just let it divide us.